Let's talk about this police shooting that happened downtown Orlando. So I'm gonna play the video first. Let's see if y'all have some thoughts on it.
Breaking news from overnight. A section of downtown Orlando is a crime scene this morning. Police investigating what led up to an officer-involved shooting that happened near Jefferson Street and Orange Avenue. Let's bring in Fox 35's Randy Hildreth for us this morning, who is live downtown. And Randy, good morning to you once again. We do know the police chief says several were patrolling the area because it's been a hot spot for criminal activity in the past. So it wasn't like they were called out to a scene.
Yeah, the police chief says that this is an area where they monitored for gun activity and then also drug activity, and that is what had them already in this area. Now, initially, the scene cleared up around 7:30. They got that call shortly before 2 o'clock this morning about the officer-involved shooting, but I can tell you within the last 3 to 5 minutes, we have seen additional investigators arrive on the scene. You see that crime scene investigation van, and then also we see staff appearing to take additional pictures of the scene. Investigators still on the scene here. What I can tell you is that Chief Eric Smith had a news conference around 4 o'clock this morning and walked us through what he says happened. He says that officers were doing a drug investigation and patrolling near Jefferson Street and North Orange Avenue. Chief Smith says the officers saw drugs, confronted the man in a car, and they say that man made a move as if he were reaching for a gun, and that's when the officer shot him. Now, the chief says that that officer was not injured, but the person he shot was taken to the hospital and died. And we're still working to get more information about if another person was in the vehicle at that time with that man. And also, the chief says that at this point, a firearm has not been recovered from the scene here. The chief spoke again early this morning. Here's a little of what he had to say.
But I know that drugs were seen, and that's why the officers stopped and checked out with the person.
He didn't have much to say.
That lady might be one of the worst news people ever.
She took forever to get to
Yes,
him.
she was meandering around, didn't get us any critical facts until the end of the report.
Yeah.
Like literally wasted 30, 40 seconds on just absolute nonsense. Some big booty chick out there taking pictures. I mean, come on.
So you were looking at the booty pink. Oh, okay.
What was I gonna
It was nothing else to look at.
Look at but the booty.
I mean,
Okay.
come on. That was an awful report.
That was terrible.
But a lot of questions, okay? Again,
She would have passed my interview too.
Police get it wrong again. Like,
Yeah.
end of story. That's all you need to say.
Right.
Again, they thought there was a gun. There's no gun. They kill another person. Just typical police work, man. Just typical.
They did find drugs, though, I guess.
Well,
I mean,
fantastic.
What if they planted
they
it?
can
well,
always
what is
find
interesting
drugs,
is they
right?
saw
I know.
drugs,
They
and
saw
that's why
drugs.
they stopped him.
How did they see it?
What did they see?
Right.
How can you tell? Like, was it a puff of smoke coming out of the window? Like, what was it? Was the guy riding around with like a kilo of cocaine on the hood of the car, like a hood ornament?
Right.
Like, like that. That alone is suspect as hell.
Yeah.
No, the guy obviously had drugs. So you got that part right. But this is, again, just despicable. He reached for a gun. Like, you had multiple officers there. Reaching isn't firing.
Right.
You still got a lot of work to do before you fire the gun. There was time to assess the situation further, and these guys didn't have the poise to do it.
Yeah.
So you have another dead guy.
So what do you think? Do you think there's a solution to it? Because I know we talk about it a lot.
Disband
It
the
happens
police.
all the time. Disband?
Disband them.
Really?
They're out of control. They are like a societal cancer.
Right.
Their code of ethics, their approach to doing their job, it's not good.
So do you think disbanding them or
Disbanding and
restructuring?
restructuring. Disband, because you can't restructure with the same miserable people you have.
Right.
You can't
And
say,
so
all
that,
right, we're
that
gonna
might be part of the restructuring phase. It's like
you purge.
right.
You purge and you
Right.
start it new.
Okay.
That you have to. I mean, realistically, if you want to change anything, you have to do that.
Okay, so that's
you can't
what you
just
mean by
shuffle
disband.
around.
Disband means like break down what's
Get rid of what's there. Get
Okay.
rid of it all.
Okay.
And then the mentality and the rebuild has to be different. It has to be centered on protect and serve. Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
Right.
It's not all this, militarized nonsense that they do.
Yeah.
They're overarmed.
Yeah.
And that gives you a mentality. If you're like a regular person and you start working out every day in the gym and lifting weights, you get stronger.
Right.
Your posture changes, your attitude changes, your demeanor changes. The same thing happens when you have military grade weapons
Right.
and you're a police force.
Right. But do you think like the police force is just like at the surface, right? So everything is a system, right? We're a very systematic society. So the police is at they're like the boots on the ground. But, the system is like rooted. Is a lot of roots that, connect
Sure.
to that particular
Sure.
aspect of the system. So how do you only focus on what's on the surface and expect for it to change?
Well, that's why I would say dismantle. You're dismantling that entire structure.
Yeah.
Now you have the other structure that it partners with is the criminal justice system.
Yeah.
That has to be addressed too.
Right.
All of that. I mean, that's that. If you really want change.
Right.
But the thing is, I don't think people really want change. They want to kind of like shine up the turd and make it look a little different and say that we've trained people or we've done this
Right.
or whatever, but you're
Right.
not changing the core of what's wrong.
Yeah.
You have to purge that, go
Right.
down to the beginning and build back up. And you have to do it in criminal justice. You have to do it in politics, to be honest. Because
I think it goes
in
back to the
politics-
Constitution, really, because that's really what it
In
all
what respects for the Constitution?
like all aspects of the Constitution, because that's what governs all. That's where everything kind of starts. Who we are, where we are. In this society, right? What
Yeah, I
rights we have, the
guess.
freedoms, abilities, and all this other.
Well,
Stuff.
I'm
But,
anti-Second
it's like
Amendment. I'm anti-Second Amendment myself.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
I'm not.
I think that's
I'm not.
outdated nonsense.
Not at all.
I think
I'm here
all of
for
it. Yeah, no. And that's why, if everyone wants to shoot each other, have at it.
I'm not saying
I'm
shoot
not-
each
no,
other,
no,
but
that's
have the
your
ability if
outcome.
you need to.
That's your outcome.
If
though.
you're in a situation where you need to.
If you arm people, that's what you're going to do.
I
That's
don't
why we
know.
have mass shootings and all this other stuff.
Right. I think that there should be limitations to it. Like, what situation does a person need an AR-15?
None.
We go to the grocery store, we go to work, we go to school. We don't really need an AR-15, but
Absolutely not,
if it's understood that I'm in a situation where there's a possibility that everybody has a gun on them, I'm not gonna go into that situation. You know what I mean? Thinking I'm finna just,
I am.
dominate.
I
Because
am.
I have an understanding that there's a possibility that every
So-
person in there is armed.
So why not prefer nobody is armed in that place?
Well, I mean, I think that would be a golden place to live in, but that's not a reality of what we have today.
But you could curtail the laws towards that instead of what they're doing now, which is everybody have a gun. You
Because
see, like they're trending towards everybody have a gun. That's why all the laws are.
That's
we
true.
hold
That's
sacred.
true.
We hold sacred in this country the Second Amendment.
Right.
And this right to bear arms, which is an antiquated notion. When you lived in a rural area and you literally like had to hunt and kill for your own food and
Right.
stuff like that in
Right.
the 1800s and whatever, that made sense. It doesn't make sense anymore. You
Right.
go to fucking Publix and
Right.
get your food.
You didn't even need an AR-15 back then.
Yeah,
Probably need a
you
good
didn't
shotgun,
but
that's
you
about
don't,
it.
No, you don't
Right.
need any gun. But this perpetuation that we are comfortable with people being armed. Therefore, we now feel this need to arm ourselves.
Yeah.
It's all a psychological thing that we're
I
stuck in.
believe that. I believe
know?
that, but we still have to be,
I've survived 52 years right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody shot me. If I get shot tomorrow, I've had a good run. It's just,
you're in a pretty good position in society, though.
it's okay. It's okay. No, I mean, I know that race is a factor
Yeah.
in all this. I
Yeah.
understand that, but that's also why I want to demilitarize the police because they're at the tip of the spear perpetrating much of this, and I just don't believe in all of this armaments, and I think it creates a mentality. It's really fun. Like guns are like tattoos. When you hear somebody get a gun, they get a gun. Inevitably, within 6 months, they're telling you about the next gun they got and the one after that. It's like tattoos. Most people never stop with one tattoo. They get more and more and more. It's just a mentality, and you have these people who now are just super armed for nothing. It's if that's what people want and they kill each other, I stop caring. I don't care anymore.
You don't care
But
anymore.
it's just I think you're an idiot. It's all you get what you deserve in that situation.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And I don't know. I sit on the fence with that a lot, but I do. I always say what I just asked you. Like, I'd rather for the laws to be more on the nobody has guns, trend towards that way instead of what it's trending towards now, especially like, Florida, Texas, places like that where you don't even need, they're not even doing background checks.
And you got to realize this too. Like, the average person is a millimeter away from being an idiot. And we're
I'd say
trusting these people
maybe
to
one
drive.
or two bad decisions from
Not one or
completely.
no. They are literal idiots
Mm-hmm.
in their day-to-day functioning, and yet they can drive cars, they can procreate, they can have guns. We don't want these people doing any of those things.
Yeah.
They're just a constant hazard to the rest of us.
Well, I mean, the what they say, it goes back to the strongest will survive. I mean, if they're here, that means that they're surviving too. So
They don't need to survive.
They don't need to.
They don't.
If they didn't need to, they wouldn't.
No, they don't.
They have a place.
They don't. They
They
don't
have a place here.
No, they don't. They don't.
They're going to that place soon.
Just don't
I
be
think.
one
Not
of them.
soon
That's
enough.
all. You know?
Not soon enough. Nah, when you talk to like the general populace, like
Yeah.
these are some dumb people.
I
Like, you
agree
don't-
to
you
that. I
don't
agree with that in
understand
a
how
certain
they get
extent.
through a
The
day.
masses is that the masses
Like,
are
how do you
definitely.
get through a day? Like, you're that dumb.
I guess.
I don't guess. I know.
So then,
Yeah.
so what's the
I'ma
good?
tell
What's
you,
the positives then?
None.
No positives
About what? Dumb people?
about life.
Oh, hey,
You know, because you can't
Win
say
some- win some
look at
games.
life without excluding
win some
people.
games and get some coochie.
Win some
Games,
and get
some coochie.
wow. Okay.
What else is there?
Well, I mean, I guess that's the positives is
You asked me for the positives. I just gave
the
you.
people who play the games and the ladies who give the coochie.
Well, I mean, yeah, that whole experience.
The whole experience.
Okay, so there's two
If
positives.
you're
Okay.
into D, it's good for you, I guess.
Yeah, I'm into it.
All right. And it's into you right back.
Well, that'll do it for that segment there. But I don't know, man. It's what's funny though. It's been a little while since we had a trending like story about the police
Shooting somebody?
shooting, killing somebody.
Giving us a pleasant respite.
It's been a little while, man. So maybe they're getting better.
Maybe. Let's
You
hope.
know?
Let's hope.
Let's hope, man.
Yeah.